what's going on, everyone? Mike Plachter, that flipping accountant, and welcome to my podcast, Flipped Off. I got a really special guest today. One of the first people I met in the industry who's really been good to me. He's a great realtor, good friend of mine, Shawn Waller with Signature Peer Properties. How's it going, man? It's a pleasure to have you on the podcast.
Mike, man, it's an honor to be here, bro. I remember we were talking about this brainchild that you had with the podcast, and now it's finally here. I'm excited for this, man. I'm excited for this.
I've been talking about this for a while. I think I wanted to start it in January, and here we are in November.
Hey, listen, well, you start in the same calendar year. Let's look at it like that.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So how do we meet? We met at brewery, whatever it was, 1425, whatever the number we're up to now. But yeah, we met there. I'm not even sure how we met, at that event, but we followed each other on social media, and you reached out to me to have me on your podcast, which was about a year ago, like today.
I think almost a year. Yeah, I think exactly almost a year ago. Yeah, it
was definitely in November, that's for sure. And I'm really honored that you would have me on. You took a flyer on me. Let's be honest. I was just starting out in the industry, didn't know anything about, knew a little bit about real estate, but not a lot about podcasting. That's for sure. That was my first podcast I've ever been on. And I mean, it was high budget. I'm doing it on just whatever internet this is. We had a studio. We had Matt in the background, doing all the editing and making the lighting perfect and everything like that. So I mean, it's high budget. So I really appreciate you taking a flyer on me, and we hit it off. It was great. I had a good time.
No, it was amazing, man. I knew you. So when we first met at the brewery and we introduced each other, I remember you told me, "Shawn, I'm a CPA and I'm also an investor," and I was like, "Wow, that's actually a really great combo." And when I was starting the podcast, I'm like, "Yo, that's a good person to have on the podcast because you get it from both angles, right? You get it from the investor side of it, and the tricks of the taxes, how to work at that angle. And when you came on, you was a natural. You had the highest views for a while on the pod.
Yeah, right.
You know what I mean? And it was great, man. It was a great way for us to connect with each other. We've been cool ever since. It's been So we definitely hit it off.
It was it was good, and it was a lot of CPAs can just they're just not conversationally. It's just wow, what are we talking about? You can only speak about taxes for so long without someone just being I'm checking out of this conversation. It's just what are we talking about here? We talked about taxes, but we didn't go too deep, and neither did either of us. But it was good stuff, man. So tell us a little bit about yourself. Maybe a little bit about your background, how you got started, stuff like that.
Sure. Like you said, so my name is Shawn Waller. I am a licensed real estate agent here on Long Island, but I do cover all 5 boroughs, anywhere from Manhattan to Montauk. I've been in the business now I'm going on 10 years. I'm still going to say 9, but I'm going close to 10 years. I'm originally from Jamaica, Queens. I started in the business because I wanted to make some money. And I went on Google and I said, how can I make 6 figures without going back to school? And real estate was the first thing that popped up. I've always been a people person. I've always been in kind of the customer service, retail type of background. And I've always enjoyed working with people face to face. And I said real estate is it's a no-brainer. The only thing I do is learn the laws of the land, right? And I can figure it out.
That's what it is. It's real estate is it's a people's business. So if you're good, like I said, you worked in retail, maybe you worked in hospitality at some point, whatever it is, you have that sixth sense. You could pick up on social cues and stuff like that. So it's kind of like a natural lead-in. Plus, the money-making ability is great as well.
Exactly.
So yeah, you can't go wrong. But that's really interesting. That's where you got started. I mean, so you were in it 10 years now. You started, I think you were in property management, right? You didn't.
Correct.
Were you always a realtor?
So before I even started property management, I took my real estate test and I was doing retail jobs for maybe 2 years until I got into property management. Started property management, and it was, property management is pretty much the same thing. I was working for a high-end luxury apartment building and doing real estate part-time. So it was always a hustle for me. Saturday, Sundays, open houses, showings, after work showings, sometimes long lunch break showings, appraisals. So I always had that hustle in me, and I always was trying to figure out a way to get out of that rat race of the 9 to 5. Nothing against the 9 to 5. I just knew it wasn't something for me because I didn't like to have that ceiling as far as when it came to income and just that flexibility. Yeah. So right before the pandemic hit, I got an ultimatum by my regional manager to I had to either do property management full time and quit real estate, or basically just not have a job anymore. So I told him, you know what,
Wow.
this is my 2 week notice. So I bet on myself. Yeah,
Wow.
this was in October of 2019. I worked out a way for them to basically pay me throughout the year for the remainder of the year, so I could go full time in January. But full time in January, pandemic hit in March.
Right.
So it's been a
Oh
roller
my
coaster for
God.
sure. So I've only been full time for 2 years.
Wow. No, that's really incredible taking that leap. You really made a bet on yourself. You know, you're like,
Hmm.
listen, because most people, I would do 99% of people, and probably me too. Like I'm more of a conservative person. Because I'm an accountant, at least financially.
Hmm.
I'm talking about. So it's hard for me to be like, oh yeah, I'm just not gonna make an earning anymore. Like you had a
Yeah.
kid, you at least one at that time, right?
I had one kid, mortgage. I was making six figures at that job, but I was just
Damn.
miserable. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
my wife understood that. Like she saw me, my whole attitude changed, and I had to. So it was funny because I sat up at night and I'm like, how am I going to break this news to my wife that I don't want to do this anymore? And I had the conversation with her, and she said, "Go for it," which shocked me because I was ready to, for a rebuttal, right? I was ready to have that argument, not the argument, but that chance to
Right.
explain to her why I should do it. And she was like, "No, I believe in you. Go ahead, do it."
Yeah, no, that's something important. Like you need to have that supporting cast, like supporting you.
Hmm.
That's something my business coach talked about. Like my first meeting, it was like, is your wife on board? Because it's not easy, and
No.
you have to sacrifice things, particularly maybe even time away from just being around the house or whatever.
Hmm. Hmm.
So it's a big sacrifice, particularly, and then in your case, just getting rid of that steady income into like a commission based
Yeah.
job or career, which is incredible. So that transition must have been really scary for you, and I give you a lot of credit, man. That's really cool.
Thank
But
you.
it's
Thank
all
you.
paid off because like you're doing great. I've been following you, I think at least 2 years now, and I've been following you probably since that time period, and it's been
Hmm.
I've seen nothing but success with you. So good stuff, good stuff,
Thank
man.
you. Thank you, man. Thanks. Thanks. It was stressful. It was definitely stressful at the beginning, especially when the pandemic hit. And I was like, man, did I make the right decision now? Like I'm home.
Right.
I'm home with my first daughter because my wife was still going to work. She was working in a hospital. So, they
Okay.
were deemed essential. So I'm like, man, I'm home. I can't go out. I can't do any showings. There was so many restrictions
Oh
for real
wow.
estate agents at the beginning, like the first few weeks. And you know what? I was like, I'm gonna use the slow time as the time to just like strategize and figure out where I want to go for the future.
Okay.
And it gave me time to bond with my daughter as well. Because like I said, I was working so much when I had the full time that I really didn't see my family at all, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. So I guess let's go there because I wanted to talk about this at the end, but I mean, you mentioned having the kids and not
Hmm.
being able to, like your wife's working, you might have the client says, hey, let's go show me this house. And, you can't, you got a kid with you, right? So
Yeah.
like, how did you do it? Now you have two kids. So how are you doing it now? How are you making it work? Because like at the end of the day, you got to make things work.
Hmm.
If this is what you're going to do, you'll figure out a way to make it work. I truly believe that, particularly like with me in investing, like you're going to like, you got to do what makes sense for you, and you're going to do, you're never going to pivot off what the real strategy is, but you'll pivot
Hmm.
things in your life to make it work. So how did you do it?
It's still a work in progress, right? So, but it goes back to what you originally said is having that partner. So my wife has been that partner because, like I said, she believed in me when I told her I wanted to pursue this full time. So she believed in the process, and she knew it was gonna be a journey.
Mhm.
Um, but I'm still trying to figure out that balance in a way. So I try to take off time when I can to be home, um, and just figure it out from there. But you definitely need that. You definitely need that home support. And my in laws are here to help with the kids, and I set those boundaries with some of my clients as well. I'm like, listen, I have a family, so sometimes I can't just get up and run out to show
Okay.
you a house. I have to be honest with you. But that's also working now in my favor because people see me posting the kids and now they understand it. They understand there's some
Yeah.
boundaries somewhere when it comes to the family and they respect it. And that's helped my career, my growth very,
Okay.
very much in the past few years.
Right. So like working with the buyers, you kind of need
Hmm.
to be in the field, right? So you can't
Yeah.
like bring the kids with you. I mean,
I brought
maybe
my daughter with me. Don't get it
maybe you
wrong.
can.
Don't get it twisted, bro. I brought my kids with me. if I have the showing and so, like I said, people see my kids online all the time, and I'm very referral based, so people pretty much know me. I bring the kids with me. Sometimes I've had appointments where people will say to me like, "Oh, you didn't bring Zoe with you," because they feel like they all know Zoe. So it's actually worked. I brought them on appraisals, inspections. It's
Wow. Okay.
yeah.
All right. Yeah. Like I said, you gotta make it work. You gotta
Gotta
do.
make
You
it
gotta do
work.
somehow. Makes
Hmm.
sense. Do you now when you're at home? Like, let's say you're watching the two kids, your wife's working. Are you doing any kind of stuff at home, or you're just hands are tied watching the kids? Like, are you talking to clients? You pick up the phone. Or you just got
I'm
like putting the phone down until my wife gets home.
I wish it was that easy. I'm balancing both. So I'm on the
Yeah. Okay.
computer. I'm looking up listings. I'm watching the kid. I got one hanging from this hand, so she's not playing where she shouldn't be playing. The oldest one, I got the chicken nuggets in the toaster, and we figure it out. But they usually
Wow.
know when daddy's on the phone. Like they know what I'm doing, so they try to keep a little quiet and help me out.
Yeah. It's no, it's a lot. Like I just have the newborn. Well, we have two now, so we have the 3-year-old.
Congratulations, man! Congrats, brother.
Bro, thank you, man. Thank you. But it's like what I'm trying to get at is like it's a lot. It's just a lot with it, especially with the newborn because they always need to be held or whatever it is. Did it get a little easier when with the second one? How old is the second one? She's almost two.
She's 16 months now.
16 months. That's what I
16
thought.
months.
Okay.
So she's at the clingy age. So no, it's not. It's really not easier. I mean, I
Okay.
make it work sometimes. Sometimes I make those calls if I have to when I put her down for a nap. So I try to like figure out the
Okay.
schedule at that point. But for the most part, my wife is actually with me. So I can't even take
Okay.
I can't take that much credit. I'm like 10% of the equation. She's the other 90. But for that 10%, we do make it work.
But at least they have a schedule at that point. Like the newborn is all over the place. I mean, he'll be sleeping for 3 hours, or he'll be up for sleeping for 10 minutes. You don't know. Whereas like the first one, she was very predictable. It was like, all right, she'll be in bed from 12 to 3. She'll be up from 3 to 5 or 3 to 6, whatever. Like it was a predictable schedule. This one's all over the place. It's like you can't do anything.
The second one is the one that's going to challenge you the most. That's what they usually say.
I could see that. So, but yeah, it's a lot of work. I've been working actually a lot because I'm a little downtime at work. I've been working like for some time management classes just
Okay.
because I have so much stuff going on. And I thought it was really interesting, like, because listen, like we all say, even if you're not busy, you always say, "Oh, I'm so busy." Everyone says that, and it's part of it's true. Like we all are busy as we are adults. We have all have homes, we have to maintain, we have families and stuff like that, and it's a lot of work. But I mean, what I realized is like I wasn't really managing my time correctly. So something I've started doing is I really like focusing on that. I've been documenting like what exactly I'm doing.
Okay.
I don't know if you have any time management tips, but like that's something that I've been doing. So I'll give you like a little backstory. I don't know if you want to hear this or not, but I have like a little, I have like a little system now. I've been watching some LinkedIn Learning, time management courses. I'm getting really into that stuff. So I have a system now where it's like it's twofold. First, you gotta eliminate all distractions, right? I'm working. We're doing this. I got my phone's ringing. It doesn't matter. Like that's on whatever. Do not disturb. Whatever. So you eliminate all distractions. And you put like an inbox. So you have the inbox where everything goes in the inbox. Everything.
Okay.
So even if it's like an email that I opened, right? And it's I gotta like email them back. I'll put like on a sticky note, email Shawn back, put it in this inbox. Right. Everything goes in there. And then at the end of the day, end of the week, whatever it is, you go through that and you say, all right, well, you process it. You say, all right, well, if this takes less than 5 minutes, we're doing this right now. If this takes anywhere from 5 to 15 minutes, I'm going to put it as like a task reminder on my calendar, and it'll just say like, all right, Tuesday at 4, you're doing this, and you just do it. And then like, what do you call it? Then if it's 15 minutes or more, you block out the time in your schedule, obviously, and you just like get it done. So at least like for me, that seems to be working so far. Like I'm very reliant on like a digital calendar, Google Calendar, things of that nature, and then what do you call it? Like, I don't know. It's working for me.
That's good.
And I mean,
That's good. I actually just started utilizing my calendar a lot more because I didn't do it before. I used to rely on memory way too much.
way too much.
Way too much. And the busier
That's
I
the
started
thing.
to
It's
get,
like this system is designed. Nothing's up here. Like
Yeah.
nothing. Oh, I got to call back Sean. No, that's not up here. Write it down, put it in the inbox. That's the whole system. It's like get everything out of your head because you're going to forget shit. So
Yeah.
that's the system. Like just put it on
I
out
like
of your
that.
head.
I like that. I started
Yeah.
giving myself like to-do lists, and I do it at night. Literally, like when the whole house is asleep, I create myself a to-do list. And first thing in the morning, if I can't get into it that night, first thing in the morning before anyone wakes up, I'm knocking that to-do list out. If it's emails, no matter what it is, or I'll write out the text, and I won't send yet, of course, because I won't text anyone too early in the morning. But then I have a reminder on that list, 8 o'clock, send those text messages out. You know what I mean? That way, I just literally just hit send. That's all I have to do.
You know what? I do something. I don't do. So I'll text. I do a lot of texting in my business. And then like it's more of like we could talk about like the funnel, the sales funnel I have. But like anyway, I do a lot of texting. I wish there was a function on the phone where like I could text you, right? But it's 4 a.m. or it's like 2 a.m. I could just save that as like an email. Like an email has a draft. You save it. You send it later. I wish I could save that because that's when I have downtime to do all this stuff. But in the middle of the day, I don't have time. But I wish I could just send them at the middle of the day and not have to. So that, I don't know, that's a little side note. But
you could pin the conversations. You could pin them. That way, they're always at the top of your thread.
I could pin them.
You can pin them, yeah. But you can't like auto send and anything like that.
No, I do auto. So I kind of do. I do text marketing, both on the homeowner side, which I use a service for, but then I do like one-to-one with realtors. So I'll send them like a video with a long description, who I am, introduce myself.
Nice.
And it takes time. You got to go to your photos, click send. You got to, it loads up. You click the text button, you type in the number. Because not everyone's on my phone. I don't have everyone, that's a realtor, like saved as Shawn Waller. It's not in my phone. So it takes time. So I wish I could just do that when I'm slow, sit on the couch or something like that. But it'll be like 10:30. I can't be texting people. So
I wish it was a way you could streamline it. You could hit some type of option on your phone at 8 o'clock. These mass texts to start going out when you don't even have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah,
that would be great.
Yeah, exactly. But so how many do you work mostly with buyers, sellers? Like what kind of how's your ratio?
It's a combination of both. I've been more seller heavy this year, and that's been pretty much by design. Okay. So at the beginning of this year, I was working with a lot of buyers, right? And this market was insane that we were just in.
Right.
And I'm not good with rejection, right? Let's put it like that. And when you're taking these buyers out and there's 30 offers on a property, only one person can get that house. And if you're constantly getting rejected, to me, it didn't play well with my psyche because I'm just so competitive, and that's something I can't control. So I said to myself, you know what? I have to figure out a way to switch gears with my business, which I wanted to do anyway. So I started to concentrate more on just getting listings and less on buyers.
Really?
And it just started to really snowball for me. So I'm more seller heavy this year.
It's more rejection with buyers and sellers?
Because I had the buyers out. Remember, it's only one house, and you had everyone that was out on the market. I'm talking like second quarter this year, when the rates were still pretty low, and you still had everyone out. The lines were long. People going way over bid for pricing on homes, and I was getting beat out by a lot because I was dealing with a lot of FHA buyers who could only put 3.5 down and didn't have an extra $100,000 to throw to go above asking. You know what I mean? So that was really it. And they were getting discouraged, and it was so much that I could do.
Okay, no, that makes sense. Interesting. I didn't know that. Now, do you do so property management? You were doing leasing, correct?
Yes, I was doing leasing. Yep, I was actually the assistant manager. I was assistant manager for a while, and then I got promoted to property manager. I was property manager maybe for like 6 months before.
So would you consider that model with like doing leasings and stuff like that, or is it not really? So is it worth it? Like I looked at the money. Like obviously, if you're doing like a 4 or 5% listing, you're keeping 2 to 3 of that. You could do the numbers on the $600,000 house. You're making good money. You do one show. You get someone in a place. It's what do you get, like 1 month's rent? So obviously it's not as much. So I don't know if it's worth it financially, but there might be a time commitment where it's a lot quicker to just bang out retail, right?
Yeah, it's a lot quicker. So if you're doing leasing, you can get paid a lot faster instead of waiting 45, 60 days. For that property to close and then going through the underwriting process and all that stuff. You can get paid a lot faster. So if you're doing leasing, you can get paid a lot faster instead of waiting 45, 60 days for that property to close and then going through the underwriting process and all that stuff. You can get paid a lot faster instead of waiting 45, 60 days for that property to close and then going through the underwriting process and all that stuff. basically just showing someone a home. If they like it, they can sign that lease within the next few days. You can get paid and go your separate way.
Okay. Interesting. That's interesting.
Me,
'Cause
I've
you know
never
a lot
really
of
done a lot of rentals on my end.
okay.
I probably my 9-year career, I probably only have done 5 leases.
Okay.
It's never really been my thing. I never really liked it. It was
It's high
always way too
risk.
many options. It's high risk,
Yeah,
especially
dude,
with
you say the wrong question. You're like some a-hole who's gonna get like the state's gonna come up to you and
exactly,
do whatever they want with you. It's crazy. It's
exactly. That's why I stay away from it. It's very nerve wracking working with rentals. Yeah, it is. It is.
interesting. Okay. Yeah, no, so that's pretty cool. All right. So picking a realtor, picking a broker, I should say. What are some of the things you look at that you could maybe just add, as something that for you that you look at? Because I'm actually, we're talking about offline, taking the realtor test, going to associate with a broker at some point if I should pass. Hopefully, if I can get the CPA, hopefully I can get the realtor license. So I'm asking really for me because I'm actually curious. I thought of it like split. I'm an investor, man. I don't really care so much to be an agent. So me, I'm just thinking split. I don't need but then there's a whole aspect to it. Like, well, at this brokerage, we're going to train you. We're going to give you leads. I think that's more important if you want to take this full time where I'm not,
It depends on your strategy, man. Like your strategy is more, you're doing it from the investor side of it, where you're looking for those deals, right? You're not really looking to be.
I'm just doing it for the MLS access. I can care less. Like if I get a listing, a retail listing, I always refer it out to people in my network anyway. So why would I? I don't think I would take that listing now if I have the license. I'm probably still going to keep referring it to people.
Makes sense.
Just to help, my network out.
On a referral. Yeah. Get 25, 30%, now you get paid for it.
I could get paid for it, but I really think I'm just going to give it out to my network just to help people. I think it's like a rising tide lifts all boats. And it's like, if I can't be the only one making money, right? Everyone in my network has to make money too. I think that's how it works.
Makes sense. But if it's someone brand new that's actually looking to get into sales, split would probably be the last thing I would tell someone to go for. Because I think that could be very, very misleading, especially in this business. Listen, someone could offer you 100% split, right? And say, all right, you pay me $60 a month, you get 100% of your money. If you're not getting any leads, if you don't have any culture, if there's no one that you can learn from, no type of mentorship, what are you getting? You know what I'm saying? Like how many deals you realistically gonna close? If you close one deal a year, a $10,000 deal, okay, you made 10 grand. Why not go to a brokerage where you may get a 70-30 split, but you could do 5, 6, 7, 8 deals? You can learn from someone that's been in the business for a while that can actually teach you about the business. It took me years to actually learn about real estate. You know what I mean? Yeah,
no, it's like you are truly thrown to the wolves. I mean, when you start out, I've been there, just not in real estate, but just in other aspects of my life where you just put out on the ledge and figure it out, man. It's tough. It really is, especially when someone's talking about, dealing with selling someone's house or trying to find someone's home for someone. Like you have a fiduciary responsibility, and you're not just built with this skill set. You have to develop it and work on your skills every day. So a broker, I guess, is all right. So I would say, like for an investor just starting out, I always say get a mentor.
Yes.
Most people should get a mentor and pay for one, or
I was about to say
not even pay for one, but it's the same thing with realtors.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, mentorship. I would say would be the first thing I would say to consider.
Yeah,
because even if you be an unpaid intern, man. Like if I was starting over and I was doing this part time, right, and I could get with an agent that's been in this business for 10, 20 years, that has a big network and can actually show me how to run this business, by year 2, 3, I'm mastered it already. I went on those listing presentations. I know how to talk the talk. I've been doing open houses. I've been XYZ, and they're teaching me actually how to funnel business back to myself. That's a game changer, man. Instead of trying to do it on your own for 2 years, you may never go to the office, or you're going to go to the office and just sit at a desk. You're just browsing on the computer. You're printing MLS sheet. That's what I was doing. It was so bad my first year of real estate, bro. I think I owed the broker money because I was just going and just printing shit. And they would charge us for the print. I think they gave me an invoice at the end of the year. I probably owed them like $5. You know what I mean? I was trying to make myself. I was trying to make myself look busy by just printing shit all day.
That's hilarious.
You know.
So I did something similar when I first started in as the investing side. It wasn't I wasn't printing stuff, but I was doing things that aren't moving the needle. You know, it's not going to get you a deal. So working on a website, like I was like so big on this website, like, oh, you're gonna have this great website, you get all these leads, people are gonna just come to you and they're gonna give you their house at a discount, you're gonna make a ton of money, it's great as long as you rank it at, you know, within the top 3 or whatever. I was like so concerned, like, oh, I gotta get a good SEO, I gotta get the good website, it's gotta be a, you know, the conversion, whatever. It was nonsense. It was nonsense. You don't need to do that. So it makes you feel good, like so I have a good buddy of mine. He calls it mental masturbation. He's like, it makes you feel good, like you're doing, like you're doing like the right thing, but it doesn't move the needle. It's not what you should be doing. You're just wasting time.
Like you're busy. You feel like
yeah.
I'm doing something. You know what I'm saying? I'm doing something. I'm putting this great website together. I'm doing all these things that I think are going to make me successful instead of trying to figure out what successful people are actually really doing. Because 90% of them aren't doing that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
They're building those networks.
I tell people that they just starting out in real estate too, that they call me because I have the website now, right? And I rank, I guess, pretty high. So people type in stuff and they're new investors and they find, oh, these new bigger investors like, you know, me and other people. And they call me and they're like, all right, I'm building my buyers list. If I have a good property, like at a discount, would you buy it? Like, what is that? Of course, like who's going to say no to that? Like you would say, you're not even an investor and you would say, yeah, absolutely. So like it's, and I always ask them because I know where this comes because a lot of people on the internet promote like reverse wholesaling. They're like, oh, you're going to get these properties, you know, and you already know what the buyers want and you just got to get it below it and then boom, instant sale. Makes sense, but it's not the reality. So people call me and I'm like, listen, are you trying to reverse wholesale? Like, you know, I kind of like pointed out right away and I'm like, you could build a buyer's list for 3 years and call every investor on Long Island and have this, you know, massive database, but it's all nonsense. You don't have a deal. You should be talking to sellers. And what they're doing is they think they're doing stuff, but they're afraid to get on the phone and talk to sellers. And that's the hard thing. It really is, you know, you call 100 people, 99% of them are going to say, F off, don't ever call me again. No, or yes, I'll sell, but not at a huge discount, you know? You got to really go through a lot of people and that's hard, but people don't want to do that. And they call me and
that's putting the work in. A lot of people don't want to put the work in, man.
They don't.
And they think this real estate thing, because of these TV shows and all these YouTube channels, they're making a business out a lot easier than it really is. And it's nowhere near it. It is nowhere near it. Like you built your business networking your ass off for the past, 3 years?
Yeah,
you know what
I would say.
And I guarantee a lot of them aren't doing that at all. At all.
No,
not face to face, at least. Not nose to nose. You know what I mean?
It was funny. Like my business coach. So this is all. I'm glad I coach with Carl Chavone. He's my business coach, real estate coach. This was all him, man. Because starting out, I was saying, I was doing the website. I was trying to do all these things. I was driving for dollars, driving around neighborhoods, finding, you know, bad homes, which, you know, that is useful. But I didn't want to meet anyone. I thought I could do this business without like knowing people. And I was just scared. Like, I don't know. Like, what am I going to just like, I was like the rookie. I didn't know anything. And, you know, he explained to me how building your network could be first off, it's the best marketing strategy you could possibly do as an investor. And it's just, you know, I don't know. It's just like going through all like the reasons why I should be doing X, Y, and Z. And it just made sense, you know. And so that's what I was, you know, I was like, you know what, I'm done. I'm good. You know, forget the website, forget this. This is what I'm really going to implement. Meeting people, getting out in the industry. That's when I created that Flippin' Accountant. I was like, well, listen, if I see Charles and if I see all these guys out there, they're doing this thing, and I want to, you know, grow my network, why wouldn't I do it on social media? Like, why would I do it just going like to networking events? Like, to scale that the way I am doing it now on social media, it's just not comparable.
You would be out every day. And never spend no time with your family if you was doing it like that. And you probably meet majority of the time you'd be around the same people all the time anyway. Like you wouldn't probably meet anyone new after the first 2 weeks.
Exactly.
You
Everyone's on
know?
social media. Even
Yeah. Go on
even
social
though
media, man. Like,
even the guy who's like down the block who he wants to be an investor or he whatever he's not going to events, he's whatever for whatever reason, but that guy's got a phone and he's looking at you every
yeah.
day, and he comes across a
Hmm.
deal and he goes, well, okay, who am I going to call? Like, I don't want to do this deal, but maybe Mike does. So
Yeah.
there's a
Yeah.
host of reasons why social media was good, and I don't know, I just came up with that name literally like a blind squirrel
I love that
finds a
name too.
nut.
We had that conversation. That name is amazing, man. I love the name.
A
It's
blind
dope.
a blind squirrel finds a nut. Is that how the saying goes? Like
That's how they say it. Yep.
something like that. But it's true. Like I'm not one of those like clever people who can come up with like a brand. But I think I did find
Mhm.
one. But yeah, so ever since I created that, I was like, I'm gonna do this to document. It was like really to meet. It was to meet
Nice.
people like you and everyone else. But it was really also just to document, keep myself accountable, and be like,
Hmm.
oh yeah, I'm in real estate, but I sit on the couch 7 days a week. No, it was like, all right, here's what I'm doing,
Hmm.
like,
Hmm.
and it keeps me accountable to people, because a lot of people talk a lot of shit and they don't back it up.
They don't back
And
it up at all. Yeah.
like, I'm going to put it out there and talk about it. And if I fail, like, you're going to see me fail, but it is
Hmm.
what it is. Like, that's how you get better.
That's
So,
why I actually started doing social media myself. It was out of survival. I said to myself,
yeah.
I said the story on other podcasts, whatever. I don't want to repeat it, but it's used to the audience, right? So I went to a dinner with Mike Titino. Shout out to Mike Titino.
Yeah.
He
Love
had a
Mike.
dinner in September of 2020, right after the pandemic we were lightening up a little bit. And this is actually my first event that I went to since the pandemic. Mike invited me out. I wasn't really gonna go, but I was like, all right, let me go. Whatever. Went to the event, and I'm like, wow, like he had all of these people there that I was following. Charles was one of them, and I'm like, yo, I'm introducing myself to them. They all knew each other already. No one knew who I was at this table, and like I said, I'm a competitive guy. I didn't like how that felt. You know what I mean? So I was like, you know what? Let me go to the bathroom. I had to go to the bathroom. I'm like, I'm unfollowing all these people on this list. I follow them all already. I'm unfollowing every last one of them. But I did that because I knew at the end of the evening we were going to exchange contacts because we were having a good rapport with each other. So in my brain, it was a reset. Like this is going to reset everything for me right now, and
Right.
I'm going to start doing it. And how do I know them? I know them because of social media. Like that's the only way I really know them, and I have to build my social media the same way. So I said that's when I called our guy
Okay.
Matt R Visual, and I was like, "Yo, how much is it going to cost me to get the social media thing up and going?"
Wow.
The price is a little.
Wow.
I was like, you know what? No matter of fact, no. The dinner was in August. I had the conversation with Matt in September. We started in October, and that's how I'm gonna give myself 3 months from now to
Wow.
January to get some traction going, and then full steam in January.
Wow.
And
That
that's how
was a
everything happened.
That's a big investment. I mean, because I know you just started out, you're getting the ball rolling, and you jumped in and did it. And I
Dude,
guess
I had no money. Remember, I left the full time job, right?
yeah.
So I left the full time job was done. Like I wasn't getting paid from that anymore. Luckily, I got unemployment during the pandemic.
Okay.
They gave me unemployment because I was still working. I forgot how they did the calculation, but I was getting full payment from the pandemic. So I'm like, all right. So I'm able to save the money that I had in my bank account, and I was just spending that unemployment money. So when September came, I still had money in the bank because I
Yeah.
had that. So I was like, all right, 3 months. It's gonna cost me X, Y, Z. I can invest that. Let me. Hopefully this
Wow.
works, Sean. Like, make sure this works, and just go all in. And I started seeing traction in like January, February. And from
Right.
that table, that same table, Beth Lowe was at that table, right? I met Beth that night. We did our first deal with each other in January. And she took my deal because she
Wow.
met me at that dinner.
Wow. That's huge, man. That's huge. Like,
Yeah.
all right. So you saw the return on investment pretty soon, within a few months, it seems like. That's so one of my questions was that, like, I saw that you've invested a lot into social media, content creation, and I don't know if you can really quantify like an ROI, or can you? Maybe can you like drill it down and be like, listen, I got this deal, I got this deal. It only cost me X. I'm making Y. Can you like
I
quantify it?
can't really quantify it. I know what I spend per year, right? So I say
Yeah.
if I'm spending, I don't know, $20,000 a year, right, on content creation,
Okay.
right? And I spend a little bit more. It's give and take. I said, if I
Yeah.
spend $20,000, right, on content creation, it takes me 2 deals to reimburse that.
Oh, okay.
2 deals at $500,000. That's all I need is 2 deals to make that money back.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
How many deals can I get going from this that's going to make that money for me, right?
Right.
When I first started doing social media, like I said, I measured from that January, right? From that January to that December, my business increased over like 100%.
Wow. Okay. So
You know what I'm
clearly
saying? So I went,
it's
it got there because I was part
right.
time. So that's the only way I can really measure it. Part time, I was probably making like $50,000 doing it. The following
Yeah.
year, I almost tripled that.
Wow. That's huge. Yeah. Because
To the
nowhere
point that
else.
my broker noticed it. They was like, damn, what the hell? They started looking at my numbers like, what the hell happened? I was like, dog, I got my ass in front of a camera.
Wow. Okay. That's powerful, man. Yeah. So like the old fashioned way, it might have taken you 3 to 5 years to get to that level where you tripled or
Yeah,
doubled your business, and you did it in a year.
I did it
So
in a year.
that is massive. I mean, listen, man, I get business. So when I started this real estate thing, I had absolutely no intention of getting business from this for accounting. People want me to do their taxes. They see me on Instagram. Oh, you're that flipping accountant. And I don't even talk that much about taxes. But people come to me and they want me to do their taxes. And listen, I'm a CPA. I'm more than qualified to do it. So it's not any issue there. But it's like an unintended benefit of this content creation. So it's great. And I'm like, should I? Like, I haven't done the investment into the social media. I'm like, everything I've done is me just documenting, and me. This is all me, man. Like, I'm gonna put some YouTube. I'm gonna clip it. It's all me. Like, I don't have anyone doing it. It's just, it is what it is. So if the quality sucks, it's because I don't know shit. but no. So
We all start from the. This takes me back. Us doing it this way takes me back to when I first started my podcast. I was doing it in the same room on a computer in January of 2021, and just like we're going to go for it. So this actually takes me back. Like, this feels good. You know what I'm saying?
okay. So that's kind of where I'm at. Like, I'm at a crossroads. I don't know if I should invest in the content. I knew at some point I'm going to. It's just a matter of when, and maybe I'm just a little too like hesitant about it. But I'm going to do it at some point.
I know when you're ready. Yeah, you know when you're ready. But you're doing it right now. Because like you said, people notice you, right? They see you on it.
Yeah.
Like, yo, that's that flipping accountant. He's gonna be my accountant now. And
Yeah.
I learned that you don't have to be the best. Like, I'm not the top agent on Long Island. Like, that's not what I'm going for. I'm just going for visibility.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, when I'm competing with other agents in front of a client, and they see me more because everyone's on their phone, they see me more than they see that other agent, and they pick me. I won. You know what I'm saying?
That's
And I've had that
wow. Okay.
situation before. I've gone out with clients and that randomly call me up for Instagram because I get a lot of my business from Instagram for the most part. And I'm going out with them, and the other agent will be there, the listing agent if I'm working with a buyer. And I noticed that they were following that agent as well online.
Okay.
But they picked me because that agent is not doing nothing on their social media. Like, they're not posting anything. They're not staying active.
I didn't think of it from that
perspective.
Because it's like, yeah, I mean, obviously you're getting like referrals from Instagram and stuff, but as another real estate agent, if I'm the selling agent and I know you, and then Sally from your local coach or whatever real estate brokerage is like putting an offer at the buyer. I don't know, Sally. She could be, huge a-hole. Like, I don't want to deal with that. I mean, Sean's like maybe his buyer's 5,000 or 10,000 less, but I know it's going to close, and I know Shawn, and we work together. We've communicated with each other before. Let's take his offer. I'm going to pitch the seller on maybe taking Sean's offer because it's probably going to close.
I actually have a funny story about that. So, this is during craziness, the wild west of a few months ago, right? When everything was going over a million offers on a house, right? I put in an offer for a client. It wasn't even the best offer. So say the house was listed at 525, we probably came in at 520. We were the best offer on the table.
Okay.
I receive a phone call, and I'm talking to the agent, and I hear like my podcast in the background. So I'm like, is my phone like, am I like on YouTube by accident? So I'm trying to figure out, I'm like, what the hell is going on? And the guy says to me, "Oh, I found your podcast online. You know what you're talking about." And he said, "Sean, you're not the best offer, but we're going to take it." Mike, this guy was 30 years older than me. You know what I mean?
Wow.
and they wound up taking our offer. We weren't even the best offer on the table. But he said, just because I watched the episode, you know what you're talking about. I'm feeling this is going to close without an
Wow.
issue.
Yeah.
We're going to take your offer. The house is right in Huntington. No lie.
That's huge, man. That's huge because, like, there's a whole credibility aspect too that you get from putting yourself out there. I mean, if someone's watching, I have true followers. You do too. Like people that are like, dude, I love watching Mike's stuff or Shawn stuff, and you see someone every day. It's like it's almost like they're in your living room. They're your buddy. So it's like, and I really take that as that's a great thing. But you do have a layer of credibility with the social media stuff, and and it's always good you have to act in the best interest. You always got to be a good person. I just got to say that because it's very important. Because a lot of, I don't know, you could be a jerk off. I'm not saying you. I'm saying some people could be like one person on social media and then be a jerk off of it. Yeah. I haven't experienced really anyone like that is like that in the industry, but I'm sure it exists. And it's very important. Like I am who I am on and off. Like you've met me in person.
Of course,
exactly what it is. But it's very important, I think, to do that when you're kind of like almost like a public figure in a way. I don't even know, like
it's the same thing. That's why I'm very mindful of what I put on, what kind of content I put out. I'm very mindful of that. I watch other people do different type of content. And I'm like, I don't know, man. It's not professional to me. Like professional in the sense that I get some of it. I get where they're going, but you have to remember there are other people that are watching that may not find that to be as funny as you may. You know what I mean? It's a fine line, I think, that we should have with professionalism and trying to be creative at the same time.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people just they go left when they should.
Okay. Yeah, maybe don't go like inappropriate or something like that. It makes sense. Like, listen, you're an agent. Someone's going to trust you and sell in their house, but they see you, doing something crazy. It's like, well, I don't know. You might have lost a sale right there.
Exactly. Some people may love it, but you may turn a lot of people off too. So you just have to be careful.
Yeah, 100%.
And I have kids, man. I can't scold my kids in 10 years and they see me doing crazy stuff online too. That's how I look at it. Yeah,
no, I was like, interesting. I didn't even think of that with my kids. It's like they could probably watch this podcast like later on when I'm dead and be like, oh yeah, Mike, Dad was pretty smart or whatever. You got to be careful what you say.
I look at this as a time capsule, right? So I say in 10, 20 years, I mean, God willing, I'm still here, but say I'm not, right? My kids could go back. Your kids could go back and Google you now, bro.
Yeah.
They could look you up and be like, all right, that's what Dad thought. Because real estate is real estate, right? Like a lot of these scenarios are probably never going to change in the next few years.
Right.
Like the dynamics of it doesn't change. Imagine they could go back and listen to Dad's opinion on X, Y, Z and be like, all right, now I know which direction I should go with it. You know what I'm saying? That's how I look at it.
Yeah, that's a good point. I totally agree with you. So what are you seeing in the marketplace, as far as the market, the buying? Is the buyers dried up? Or things are still moving, but not as fast, I guess? So what are you seeing?
It's not as fast. We're going into a correction now. The market is getting a little back to normal. When I started, this is what the market was, especially this time of year. Like you're on vacation from November to the end of December. The past 2 years were a little different. Like people were still buying Christmas Eve. People were still out looking. You know what I'm saying? Now the rates have gone up. They've gone up from what we're used to seeing, and people have slowed down. I mean, inflation is up. Other things that cost more money, so people are pretty much judging where they're going to put their money right now. If they don't have to move, they're not going to move. If they could, save up a little bit more or pay off debt, or if they could, people have lives as well. So we have to think about that in our field. Like we want to sell, but people also, they want to be conservative with what they're doing too. So give me some time. That's how I look at it. I've had clients that have reached out to me last January that probably didn't close until September. Like it's a marathon. It's not a race.
Yeah, I think I think what happened over the last 2 to 3 years is crazy. I mean, 2019, 2018, and I bought this house in 2017. Those were still strong markets. If you really look at it, like they were not buyers markets. They were definitely seller. I remember being like, I bought this house for $500,000. It was actually a good deal. They listed it at $589, right? And I remember being like, damn,
you got it for $500,000.
Yeah, because there was some issues like that wasn't selling at $589, and it was like they had a contract at $525, and the attorney who was going to buy it, he was like, I don't know, like there was an issue with the deck. So I'm like, I came in with the only offer at that time because the other one fell through at 500. And they asked me to come up. I said no, and they accepted it. And I kind of knew they had to sell, but anyway, like at the time, it was like 500,000 for a house. You can't find anything in this market in this town for under 650 or 700. Like it's real. Even pieces like crap houses are listed for like 675. You know, everything's been crazy. You'll never see that again.
Same thing, my wife and I, bro. I bought my house for $250,000.
Damn.
6 years ago.
Oh yeah, you can't find anything. You're in Nassau, right? No, you're in Babylon.
I'm in Suffolk. Yeah, I'm in Suffolk, but 250.
But you can't find anything in Babylon over there for less than 500.
No, not at all.
Unbelievable. So, but yeah, like this market's been crazy. But 2017, like what I was trying to get at, like when 2017 happened, when I was buying this, it was still a seller's market. Like, you know, things have changed. You know, it wasn't like 2014 or 15 when it was still a buyer's market. Things were starting to change upward in that time frame. So, but yeah, like you're saying, this is more, it's still a seller's market, what we're in currently, but it's not like, we should never think that what happened in 2020 is normal.
No. We're still in the seller's market. It's still low inventory. It's still, you know, it's still more buyers out there technically than sellers. But now you have a chance that you can actually go to a house twice, 2 or 3 times before you decide to put in an offer. And you're not putting an offer while you're in the parking lot after you saw it for 10 seconds. You know what I'm saying? Right. We had showings and you had to literally walk through the house within like 3 minutes and make a decision. Now I just had a client, we just went into contract and we saw the house November 2nd and we just went into contract like 2 days ago. They were able to go to the house 3 times and sit on it and think about it, which I didn't rush them. I'm like, all right, think about it.
Yeah,
give yourself a chance. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's a correction, man. I love when it's slow like this. Not even talking business wise. I'm talking about just mentally. Now I'm gearing up for my 2023, right? So I'm putting all the pieces together for 2023, and I have a chance to sit down and think about what I want to do and how I want to execute to make my first quarter the best quarter I've ever had.
Yeah. Okay. So that's where I wanted to go with this next question. But before I do that's a good side note. Like as you said, this is a vacation time, right? Until the January, you could kind of utilize that time to do a lot of content creation. I feel like, you're not going to release it today, but you know, film, and your guy can edit it over the next 3 months, and you could just, you know, release a lot of stuff over time. I thought that was interesting. But getting into 2023, what are your goals for 2023? Even beyond that, like, what do you want to do in this business? Where you going?
My goals. So I have a few different goals, right? So my goals is I'm going to start a small team. I already have my first agent. She's going to be so amazing, man.
Nice.
We didn't announce it yet, but most likely by the time this comes out, it will have started. And I'm going heavy with content, man. I'm basically trying to start like my own little small media group, if you want to put it like that.
Like you would hire like a guy, like it would be your employee. You'd have like, you know, Charles has like Levy. I don't even know who's got working for him now, but he's got like a team. So you do something similar like that, where you're always just putting out content for the team. Your person working for the team, and then other team members as well.
Yeah. So my guy, shout out to Alex, my videographer. Alex is the dopest videographer in the business right now. Shout out to my guy. We're going to start something up. So now we're interviewing for a second editor. That way, all the pressure's not on him to edit. He could film. We could send it out. Get the editors up. I'm going to interview a graphic designer. That way, we can start getting other content going on that end. And I'm going heavy on. We're going heavy on photo marketing as well. So I'm gearing up to be
photo marketing
in 2020.
Photo marketing, like what's photo marketing? You mean like your listing photos?
Listing photos, lifestyle photos. There's anything that could be in front of a camera is going to be also a still photos. So I'm thinking of just doing a lot of print work on top of the videos. I can't give too much away, but it's going to be different.
That's fine.
Trust me.
Yeah, no, that's fine. That's interesting. Like hiring all these people. Do you feel like, I don't know if you know much about it, but like I feel like editing is a skill. You know,
editing is a skill.
Like you're the guy, the videographer. Is his skill set? Is the editing, or is he really great at the angles and shit like that?
We had a conversation about that actually. I think it's a little bit of both. I think he takes a lot of pride in his editing, which is why
Okay.
his content comes out so well.
Yeah.
But you can't do both, or you're gonna just like completely drain yourself. You can't because editing takes a lot of work.
I know. That's what I'm saying.
That's
Like,
why.
how does he do that? How does he? Can he? It's probably like a business thing. You got to create like a system. He's got to create a system for his employee because how do you teach? You got to teach his skill set to other people,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
the
I
big
mean, and
thing.
you got to realize that it may not be as great as your editing because it's anything you do, right? Like you can train someone to be a CPA, they just may not be as focused as you are with it. But if they can get the job done, they can get the job done. You just
Yeah.
don't want to probably tweak a little bit of some things behind them. But if
Okay.
you're trying to do everything yourself, like eventually, after a while, you'll burn yourself out. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? So you just
Yeah.
have to, and that's been the journey for me in the past like 2 years is figuring out how to level up to the next level. Like I can't take all the buyers and sellers. I can't physically. I can't, and I literally don't because that's draining. Why not
Okay.
get other people around me that I could give some of that work to? That could help. I could help them with their lifestyle now. Like they could do more business and they could get out of that 9 to 5 if they're trying to get out of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And you
And I
can
could
kind of
create
give
more stuff with
them,
the content. Yeah.
and then on the listings, you tell them, hey, can you show it on Saturday? Then they
Hmm.
get all those buyers that come in. You say, those are your
Yeah.
buyers. Those are not mine. Those are your buyers. And
Yeah.
maybe you comp them somehow for doing the services, but they're also going to
Hmm.
get listings, or
Exactly.
buyers, I should say,
And I'm
back from that.
softening that learning curve for them, right? So, like I said, it took me a long time to learn the business. If I could shorten that time frame for someone and I could mentor them, why not, man? Why not?
Interesting. Yeah, no, that's interesting. So you're training people below you too. It's always good to
Hmm.
give back, man. You can't just be the only one. Like I said, yeah, everyone's gotta eat.
Everybody got to
So
eat. It's lonely, man. It's lonely trying to do all this shit by yourself, bro. You know
I
what I
know.
mean?
I know. Dude, I appreciate you coming on, man. I think it was great. If there's anything you want to talk about, or if anyone could come out and reach you, I know. I mean, you kind of give them your information on social media, or how they can reach out to you.
Of course. Well, I want to end it with this, man. I'm super proud of you, bro. I'm super, super, super proud of you. I
Thanks,
know we've been
dude.
talking about this for a while, and you're doing it. The name is amazing. That flipping account, I think you're an original. You're one of one out here, and I see you doing your thing. So I'm very, very proud to see it.
Thank you.
If anyone want to get in touch with me, my name is Shawn Waller, also known as Shawn Your Realtor. Whatever you want to call me, just make sure you call me 718-840-8094. You can reach me on my Instagram at Shawn Your Realtor. Um, Catch up on my podcast, Strictly Free Game. Make sure you catch Mike's episode because it was one of the best ones. I learned so much from that one. And that's how I met my guy, man. So catch up with us, and I appreciate you, bro, for real, for real. Thanks for having me on.
All right, man. All right, man. Appreciate you coming on, and that's a wrap.
That's a wrap.